3 straight home series losses.
But they've looked like lifeless, it feels like, even back to back.
They should have got no hit Saturday.
Yeah.
I was actually rooting for the no-hitter.
I mean, why not? I mean, to me, you want to see a little history. Right. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's tough to put my finger on them. They seem very streaky right now. They're a very streaky team, and I think that's a lot of people get frustrated when we say it's like, no, they have a lot of guys who are streaky. You know what I mean? And then defensively, they've slipped a little. Yeah. And I think that's one thing that I'm looking at. And then the other part is like pitching. Right. You got to have good pitching, sustainable pitching. And when you don't get timely hitting and your pitching slips a little bit, you leave yourself vulnerable. Now, Saturday, they just ran into a buzzsaw.
I mean,
you go 8 2/3.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hitter could get some lone hit there in the bottom of the 8th
just to get out of that bad
right.
boy.
I mean, it was electric out there at the yard. As Howie Hendricks was dealing yesterday, Saturday afternoon. You look up and like, boy, Giants don't have a hit.
Right?
Giants don't have a hit. Giants don't have a hit. Wait a minute, Giants don't have a hit. 4 outs left. They don't have a hit. Then Henry goes the left center field to hit the double and get the hit on the board there, break up the no-no. But yesterday they needed it, 13-3. Jock Peterson going 4 for 4 to raise his batting average to 282. Tyrone Stroud batted leadoff yesterday, going 2 for 4. One guy I was watching yesterday very, very closely was Casey Schmitt. And he goes 2 for 4 yesterday.
Yeah,
he's strikeout. And my thing is this, before I let you get in here, my thing is this. Do not allow him to go back to Sacramento.
Why?
He needs to be up here with the big league club and learn how to be a big leaguer under Brandon Crawford. He has the perfect mentor in place to navigate his career, to see how a pro does it. A Gold Glove winner. Let's be real. Casey Schmitt has Gold Glove potential in the future. So why not let him just soak in everything he can out of Brandon Crawford? I don't care if his bat is cold. You just cannot afford for him to go back to Sacramento and play with this confidence there. He needs to stay with the big league club. I don't want him going back and forth. I want him to stick with the big league club and sticking around Brandon Crawford so he can learn how to be a big league infielder and just pick up the daily habits of what a professional is supposed to have. So there are rumors about him maybe going back down because of the bat. I want him staying with the big league club.
It's interesting that you're saying that. I see it both ways, right? And I don't want to sit on the fence, but the reality is yes, he had 2 hits yesterday. It just feels like he's not playing at the level and seeing the ball at the level from the plate as he was early on. Now, obviously, there's the adjustments that need to be had. I mean, he's like 13 for 50, or 55 or whatever it is. Right. So it's not great. 4 for 25 of his last 25.
It's not great.
No, and to me, it's the at-bats themselves. When he was coming up, it wasn't just that he was hitting. He's fouling stuff straight back, which means to me that he's seeing the ball very well. Defensively, he's just so good, B. I don't know if you can afford to bring up somebody else. Come on, you've seen Christian Weiss play second base.
Not good.
No, he's not even close to Casey Schmitt. So there are enough opportunities with J.D. Davis off day here and there, with a Estrada off day here and there. Obviously, Brandon Crawford, you got to play the numbers when it comes to him. Yeah. I think there's enough opportunities at the big league level to get him enough at-bats throughout the week to justify it. But if they sent him down to kind of just work on some things, I get it. I guess my question is, if he goes down and he rakes, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to come back and have better plate discipline and continue to rake at the major league level. And this is where I struggle with the whole minors, majors development question. I lean more in your way in terms of keeping him up and letting him see major league pitching. Because when you go to the AAA, you're facing remedial pitching.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right? And guys who are going to hang balls and guys that are going to leave more of the fat part of the plate out there. And I just feel like it's false hope. You know what I mean? You go down, he gets a couple of walks. That doesn't mean he's going to translate to the bigs.
Joey Bart's perfect example. Oh, my God, he scalded the ball in Sacramento. And then he gets to the big league level and he can't hit anything. So here's the deal. And I don't recall Brandon Crawford.
Arm is so good.
So Brandon Belt was going back and forth to Fresno when the Giants had the AAA affiliate. He went back and forth to Fresno in 2011, and I didn't like it. I swear, to this day, I did not like that. I was just like, what is Bochy doing? Just let the young man stay up there, keep him at first base, but he just kept going back and forth, and he was inconsistent with the injuries, but I thought, just let Brandon Crawford live at the big league level. Don't mess around with this guy going back and forth, taking a 4-hour van ride back to Fresno and back to San Francisco. Crawford, if I recall, did not. Once he was up, correct? I don't recall him going back down at all.
For me, if I remember correctly, they lost Juan Uribe in free agency, and Renneria, I think he came back, but he was just like, he was done at that point. Done. I mean, he barely played in 2010 till the playoffs, you know what I mean? But I thought Aubrey Huff was the guy at first base that kind of went MIA, which opened up the door for Brandon Belt, whereas Crawford was like, oh, we didn't bring anyone up.
Right.
We're just going to have to play him a little here. But he
didn't go back down.
Yes.
He never went back down despite the bat being suspect. He could not hit whatsoever when he first got up to the
But I think they batted him 8th, and they kind of were like, we're
just
okay
hit
with it. Yes.
Yeah, automatic out. If he hits something great, it's a bonus.
Yes.
But my point is, they never sent him back down.
Yes.
They played around with Brandon Belt. Look, some Giants fans will tell you he's the best first baseman in Giants history. I don't subscribe to that. But you can kind of look at 2011 and say, boy, the inconsistencies of him being on a big league kind of played throughout his career where he just wasn't consistent due to an injury, due to something happening, the cold streaks, the hot streaks, whatever it was. He just was never he was never able really to put it together outside of the 107-win season. So Brandon Crawford not going back down, I think, helped him throughout his career where he had to glove, he had to glove. He justified his place in the big league roster because he was winning gold gloves, but his back came around at times. With Casey Schmitt, let him stick around and just learn from Crawford every single day, every road trip, every homestead. Shadow Crawford. Take infield with Crawford. Learn what he's doing. How does he see the pictures? How does he read the scouting report? You can't afford to see a Casey Schmitt back down. I've heard a lot of that over the weekend, and I'm just, look.
That's interesting that you're pushing back on it.
Well, I am pushing back on it because, look, some people might say, oh, Bonte, you're getting hard on Casey Schmitt. I'm just saying, he's having a slump.
Well, let's have a real conversation about this because this is something that I struggle with. Would we all agree their best coaches are supposed to be at the big league level?
Yep.
Okay. Would we also agree their facilities are going to be the nicest at the big league level?
At the big league level, no
Your
doubt.
sophisticated approach when it comes to training, when it comes to regiment, when it comes to nutrition, check every box.
Yep.
Is the big league superior to AAA?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, the pitching that you're going to face, is it going to be better in the bigs or in the AAA?
Better in the bigs.
Exactly. So where I always say is like, hey, you kind of learn by doing on the fly at the highest level. Now, is there something to be said for putting in the work at the lower level, earning your spot? What could he really do in AAA that's going to change how we see him for the major leagues?
Yeah,
I feel like he's surpassed that, right?
Yeah, no, he has.
Whereas Joey Bart's a different conversation. To me, Joey Bart has never looked as good as what Casey Schmitt's looked like for any 2-week, 3-week period.
No doubt. And when he's gone back to the minors, he's hit, and we've all been
and it doesn't translate.
Yeah, it doesn't translate at all. So
it's got a Mac Williamson feel to it, Joey Bart.
I would keep Casey Schmitt with the big league roster.
I like that. I like that a lot.